Welcome to the first ever broadcast of East Staff's People's TV. My name's Will Walker, I'm the Secretary of East Staff's Trade Union Council, and with us tonight are Cheryl Pidgeon from Unite Union and Craig Johnson from RMT.
Evening.
So, guys, why are you here tonight?
Well, I think it's a great opportunity to be here at the establishment of a new media machine that will get our message across, hopefully, and also to support the East Staff's Trade Union Council, which is doing a brilliant job from the look of tonight's events, and it's much needed as well.
Cheryl?
Yeah, I'd like to congratulate East Staff's Trade Council. Well, you know, I'm a great friend, and I've got a lot of good friends over here, so I'm happy to support. But most importantly, it's important that working class people get their message out, because the local media, the Burton Mail, is so biased. It's untrue. So I'm proud to be part of this, so we can communicate the truth about what's happening to people in this country today.
Why should we oppose the trade union bill?
It's 30 pages of poison. It's just another tool to divide and conquer working class people and to put us in our place. If they keep us sick, if they keep us begging, and they keep us under the what should be a national living wage, then they've got us in control. Well, they'll have to think again, because people around here will fight to the end to defeat this bill, and we'll still be fighting after, even if it's come in.
Yeah, let's face it, we had the condemned government in the last parliament bringing in legislation which made it was very easy to sack British workers in the first 2 years of their employment. They basically made it very, very difficult to go to employment tribunals by bringing in prohibitive charges and qualification periods. And then on top of that, they basically said for the first 2 years of your employment, you will have no employment rights at all unless it's what's called a protected characteristic. And following on from that now, they, as well as attacking individual workers with that sort of legislation, so unfair dismissals effectively can go ahead for the first 2 years of your employment, as well as doing that now, they're bringing in another tranche of anti-trade union legislation. We already have some of the most restrictive anti-trade union laws in the Western world. We breach ILO conventions on peace, and it looks as if we will breach International Labour Organisation conventions a lot more if the Tories get their way. They will stop organised workers taking strike action, and let's face it, nobody takes strike action and wants to lose money lightly. They do it when they feel as if they've been pushed into a corner and have no alternative. They also want to bring in the possibility of agency staff covering for striking workers, undermining industrial action. So basically what it's about is keeping workers under the heel, and they're doing some really pernicious things as well. And let's face it as well, this legislation is going to prohibit staff representatives from even putting posts on Facebook without notification, or even putting posters up in the workplace. What sort of free trade union society are we heading for in Tory Britain? It's a very retrograde step.
How do we build the fight back from meetings like this? Because it's great having these meetings locally. Where's next?
Well, I think trades councils are absolutely crucial, a crucial cog in that wheel, because it brings together trade unionists in what is like a localised TUC, but it also can embrace local community groups as well. And that's what we need to do. We need to get our message across, and initiatives like this are doing that. Meetings like this are also doing it, bringing in music, politics all together, and the trade union movement. And I think that more power to your elbow as far as you go forward with this.
I'd just like to say, as well as speaking to ourselves, because often in the trade union movement we speak to our own kind, who are all passionate about defending working class and our rights, but we have to go out and listen. We've got 2 ears and 1 mouth, so sometimes trade unionists have to be quiet and go out and listen and make our message relevant to the people that are not connected, because there's so many people out there who don't understand what's happening, who are so under the cosh with low wages, restrictive restrictive laws that are in and around, that they don't have time to think. So we have to go out there, listen to them, listen to what their worries, what their fears are, and we have to take that message and back to our leaders, and then make sure that the way that we're moving forward takes those people with us. But above all, we have to listen. We have to get out into the streets, into the communities, right across the voluntary sector, right across, you know, the whole of the UK and beyond, because this is an international struggle as well.
And try and make sure workers are always organised.
I think that leads on to my next question, which may split opinion. I don't know. Is there a need, if it came to it, for coordinated strike action in key sectors to oppose this legislation?
Well, from my perspective, the RMT have always agreed that you have to, if you're going to take strike action, it has to be the most effective, and the most effective ways is often to have coordinated strike action. We had some very, very successful industrial action, if you can call any industrial action successful, over the public sector pensions dispute when the previous Condem government was attacking public sector pensions. I think we perhaps took the kettle off the boil after that action, I've got to be honest, and I think that we need to learn lessons from that. But if our members have been asked to take unpalatable decisions about losing money and going on strike, which is something that the majority of them don't like doing, and as I've said before, they only do when they're forced into a corner, then we have to make sure it is the most effective and quickest action we can take so we get it over with. And remember, all industrial disputes have a start and have a finish. The only argument is how much pain we go through to actually get a reasonable and honest settlement to a dispute. So let's try and make sure that all of us working together can make sure the least pain possible and the most effective action.
In terms of getting back to the point about collective strike action, the trade unions have different rules in each of the trade unions, so it makes it extremely difficult to coordinate national action. And whilst there's sometimes been criticised in the past, you can completely understand, having had to organise ballots and strikes myself, and especially when you're working across the whole sector, there are a lot of different unions working together, so the timing is critical, because you want to defend your members and to make sure that the employer gets the message, really hard. But in terms of Len McCluskey, what he said was there may come a day when we have to have civil disobedience to be able to change the laws for the better for working class people, and I would support that.
I'm all in favour of direct action.
Do you think the TUC should play a greater role in facilitating more sort of coordinated strike action, or if it came to it, civil disobedience of some kind?
Yeah, I mean, I was a poll tax refusenik. I didn't pay the poll tax, and that was a difficult decision as well, because at the time I was a Labour councillor and believed that we should be spending more money on council services, but it was a pernicious tax that attacked working people most, and that's why I didn't pay it. It's very difficult to get involved in things that, it depends what you're saying, what you want people to do. As for the TUC, I think you've already pointed out the difficulties that there is in trade unions having to go through hoops and jump over hurdles now to take any form of industrial action themselves. But where we can do it, we should do it, and we shouldn't be frightened to try. And that would be my call to TUC leaders.
I think the most responsible trade unionists are thinking about their members first, last and foremost, and so we'll do everything that we can using traditional methods and methods that will come up to defend our members and their rights. But it's not just about our members now, it's about future generations, it's about our children and their children to come, because we have to carry on the tradition of fighting like our forebears were. If they gave up, we wouldn't be in the position that we are now, so we have to hold on to that baton and pass it on and be fit and ready to pass it on to the next generation. And I'll fight tooth and nail for my family and their families to come, because that's what we're about in the trade union movement, working together, making things better and changing the world for the better, not for the worse.
And I think that's a really important point, because we talk about the industrial role of trade unions, and that's absolutely crucial to our members, building an organisation in the workplace to deliver job security, better terms and conditions, better wages and pension protection. Those things are essential. But the trade unions have also had a massive role to play in building a more decent society, a welfare state, a national health service, employment rights, access to affordable housing. The trade unions have always been in the forefront of those struggles, and I believe that we're even more needed today than we've ever been before.
Can I just build on that? In Shirebrook, in Derbyshire, in the Midlands, it's not just the government we're fighting. We're fighting one of the richest men in the UK, and that's Mike Ashley, who effectively is condoning, by not speaking out and stopping, slavery in our own backyard. You know, we've got thousands of migrant workers coming over here, being body searched in their own time, having babies on the floor, having shocking 6 strikes and you're out. I mean, what kind of world is this if we don't stand up and fight for vulnerable people? It's absolute disgrace and it needs to stop.
So, final question. It's time to get the crystal ball out of the way. Come May 2020, when we go back to the polls again, where will the trade union movement be? Will we have seen off and fought this rotten bill?
Whether we've got the political ammunition to be able to defeat it at this moment of time is not really the point. The point is we carry on and we fight for people who deserve our passion and our will, because people did it for us. It's our turn now, and it'll be our next generation's turn in the future. As Lee said today, Lee Barron of the Regional Secretary of the team said,
we'll have him on there.
yeah, he said it doesn't matter whether the bill goes through because we're going to keep fighting. We're fighting and right is on our side.
I think that's the last point is the most important of it all, really. The Tories will try and push through this legislation, there's no doubt about it, because they're engaged in a class war against ordinary working people. That's what the Tories have always been about. But the truth, the bottom line here is it a situation where this bill is right or wrong? It is inherently wrong, it is rotten, it is evil, it is a piece of work that has been brought about by the Tories to hammer working people. And the truth is, we don't have any choice but to continue this battle and this struggle, because our forefathers and mothers done it before us, and we will leave a legacy to future generations. And if we don't do it, who? And if we don't do it now, when? So let's step up to the mark and get on with the job. And let's hope that a new Labour government in 2020, with a socialist leader and socialist MPs and hopefully a socialist cabinet as well, will make the difference to ordinary working people in this country, and those who have worked and those who want to work.
Thank you, Colin. Thank you to Cheryl and to Craig, and that's the first. Thanks to everybody for watching.
Cheers, everybody.